With 24 rules, sub-rules and sub-sub-rules, you'd be forgiven if you didn't know all the rules in golf. So, I've come to Singapore, to the Sentosa Golf Club, to have a chat with Eddie Putra, Asian Tour referee, and together we're going to break down the 5 rules you need to know. So I'm delighted to be joined by Eddie Putra, one of Asian Tour's rules officials. Eddie, why don't you start by telling us a bit more about what you do?
Well, I'm a referee. Main responsibility to ensure that the game is played according to the rules, but don't think us as a police policing the players.
And how often do you find that players aren't aware of all the rules and how to take advantage of them on the golf course?
You'll be surprised that players most of the time they're not aware of the rules. Well, the rules of golf is very dynamic, just like the game itself. It's a continuous learning process, even for rules official.
So, with Eddie's help, it's time to break down 5 rules of golf that you definitely need to know.
Rule number 1. You must not improve the condition affecting the stroke. The central principle of golf is to play the ball as it lies and play the course as you find it. In that respect, players must accept the conditions affecting the stroke and not improve on them. This can be broken down into 5 conditions that a player may not improve. Condition number 1. You may not improve the lie of your ball, whether by hand or with your club. Tapping down the grass around your ball is out of the question. Condition number 2. You may not improve your intended area of stance. No matter how awkward that stance might be getting, trying to make yourself a stance counts as improving the condition affecting the stroke. Condition number 3. Improving the area of intended swing. If your club moves even a leaf during a practice swing, this counts as a breach. So be extra vigilant to check your swing with caution before playing from these tricky spots. Condition number 4. Improving your line of play. This applies most around the greens. You may not, for example, repair a divot in front of your ball, as this could affect your next shot. And condition number 5. The relief area. You may not attempt to improve the condition of the relief area before taking a drop. The relief area in poor condition? Well, that's just bad luck. So to recap, there are 5 conditions that a player cannot improve for their next stroke. The lie of the ball, the area of intended stance, the area of intended swing, the line of play, and the relief area. Rule number 2. Dropping from the knee. Gone are the days of dropping behind the back or from shoulder height. Since the 1st of January 2019, the RNA and the USGA have declared all drops should be taken from knee height when in a standing position. This isn't to be confused with dropping knee height off the ground. If you're dropping on uneven ground, the height of your drop could be much lower when dropping in the correct manner.
So Eddie, what happens if the relief area's ground is so sloping that it's higher than the player's knee?
The ball must momentarily in the air, meaning that if the ground is so steep that it's probably higher than the player's knee, doesn't mean that the player can place the ball. The ball has to be dropped.
Rule number 3. When dropping the ball, it must both be dropped in and settle within the relief area. You may stand inside or outside the relief area when dropping the ball, but it must finish inside. If it rolls out of the area, you may continue dropping until it settles.
So what happens, Eddie, when you drop the ball and it rolls out of the relief area?
The player must drop the ball again, and the ball rolls out of the relief area again, then you must replace the ball.
Rule number 4. Substituting your ball. Whenever a player is taking relief, they're allowed to substitute their ball. This includes when taking relief. Anytime you take relief, you're entitled to substitute your ball.
So say, Eddie, my ball comes to rest on a cart path. Am I allowed to substitute my ball?
Yes. The new rule says if you're taking a relief by dropping the ball or placing it somewhere else, you can always substitute the ball.
So say I want to drop the ball again, can I keep substituting golf balls each time I do that?
If you are taking relief by dropping the ball or placing the ball somewhere else, you can always substitute the ball.
Alright, so say the course is playing preferred lies.
The procedure of preferred lies, basically, you are placing the ball somewhere else, not in the original position. So by the rules, you are allowed to substitute the ball.
And finally, rule number 5, cleaning your ball. Yes, there are occasions on the golf course where you're allowed to clean your ball and not just on the greens.
Yes, but Eddie, are there any other instances in the golf course where you can clean your golf ball?
Outside the putting green, whenever you leave the ball, you can always clean the ball, except for 4 conditions. 1, to see if it is cut or cracked. 2, to identify the ball. 3, if your ball interferes with others. And 4, to see if the condition allows you for relief.
So let's recap these 5 rules. You may not improve a condition affecting the stroke. You may now drop from the knee, not from the shoulder. A drop must land and come to rest within the relief area. You may substitute your ball if you're taking relief. And you may clean your ball if taking relief or placing it on the green.
Eddie Putra, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
So, what's the most obscure rule you've ever heard of? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video, chuck us a like down there. If you want to subscribe for more content from the Asian Tour, click up here. And if you want to see another video from our Get Into Golf series, click over here. If you don't mind, I'm getting back to my drink.